here we are. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be back. I missed you so much.
I know. I'm so excited to do this.
Yeah. So hello and welcome. We say this every episode, but I went back to check on what was up, and I was like, 12 episodes. There's got to be more than 12 episodes. I had to be missing. Did JP like miss some in the play? Nope. Only 12 episodes so far, but more has happened in this show. Yeah, more has happened in the show than probably any other role-playing game I have ever played. So congratulations on that, everybody.
We're a mess.
I know that some of you have done some important stuff since the last time we played, and things have occurred that have been important in our lives, but I think that the person who's had their life changed the most since the last time we spoke is my friend Jesse Cox. Jesse, can we talk about this bread face situation, or tell us about your new favorite thing on the internet?
About
as of
5 minutes ago. Yeah, maybe not even that ago. Our dear friend and colleague Duger linked a girl who just she puts her face on bread and does it to music, and she dresses up for it, and it's on Instagram, and apparently I'm just finding out now, but everyone else in the world knows. I have never in my life, I found my soulmate. Guys, I found my soulmate.
So this talented young person we've discovered on the internet. Now, she doesn't make the bread, right? She doesn't.
No, she goes out and buys the bread. She buys all, according to every single video I've watched, which is almost all of them already. She goes out, finds the bread. It can be anything from a loaf to a slice of organic quinoa bread or whatever, and then she just matches her face on it. Oh. But the thing is she treats it like a date. I watched the documentary. She treats it like a date. So she dresses up for it, and then and she's like, every bread feels different, and then she rolls her face on the bread. I don't know if God made a perfect soulmate for me, but I feel like this is it.
You've missed the point. Her soulmate is bread. Not you.
You're her side. You're the side piece.
Sorry. I'm saying it as your friend. Like, I'm your buddy. She ain't into you. She's into bread.
I've been known to be pretty doughy.
That's unrequited love.
She could mash up on me. She could rub her face on me all day if she wants.
What the fuck am I watching? It's literally just a girl smashing her face into bread.
Hi, JP.
Just over and over. Like, what? That's all I'm going to say. Producer out.
I'm putting it out there. Does this girl have a name? I didn't look that up. Bread face.
Bread ball.
Her name. Bread face.
Bread face. I need everyone watching right now, message bread face and let her know that I will dress up like a loaf of bread for our first date if she will then film herself rolling her face on me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, who wouldn't want to be close to you, Jesse? I hear you got great genes. You're real thoroughbred.
Oh, by the way, I want to say something really important. Really important. Yeah. Today, while driving in to do this, because I was very excited and I was like, trying to get here as fast as I could. I did notice something, and it blew my mind. On the 405 today, I saw a car, and on the back of the car had every single one of the symbols for the Stargate on the back of the car, except for one, the symbol for Earth. And I was like, oh shit. And as I passed it, the car in front of it had the symbol for Earth. I was mind blown. I was like, oh. I want everyone to know how cool of an experience that was. To my nerds out there, that shit blew my mind. I was like,
now all I want to do is watch Stargate.
I wonder, on a yearly basis, how many car accidents are caused by people trying to take pictures for Twitter of the person in front of them's Black Mesa bumper sticker. I wonder how many, because I feel like it's a non-zero number. I feel like there's a number there.
Symbol, and then I noticed he was missing Earth, and I was like, ooh, I get that, because they couldn't figure, because Earth is the thing with the moon. I was like, oh, and then the next car had it. I was so blown away.
What if they were a convoy, though?
I think they were. I think they were but that's just.
But what if they won?
I know. Then maybe they're aliens.
Oh, if they won. They were just drawn to each other like gravity.
Yeah.
Look, it's Anime Expo weekend. Crazy shit's bound to happen.
True.
Yeah. It could be
Anime Expo day 1 right now.
Yeah.
Shit's
Anime.
weird.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing. Like I've had that happen in Vancouver, and I'm sure y'all have had this occur to you, where you're walking around and you're like, I'm seeing more cosplayers on the street than you. Like, is there some kind of event going on that I don't know about? Yeah. Or am I just losing my mind a little bit?
That happened to me actually the last time I visited my mom. It was like in the middle of March, where it's cold in Kansas, and Kansas just sucks in general. And I'm in the city going to pick up one of my friends, and I see 2 stormtroopers in Boba Fett just standing at a stop at a walk sign. And I'm just like, no, that's not totally random to see in the middle of Kansas City of all places.
They gotta respect those traffic laws. Yeah, very inappropriate. I wouldn't. Boba Fett and 2 stormtroopers? No, they never be together.
Listen, maybe they're friends. They're just, they're leaving work. They
Boba
carpool.
Fett has no friends. That's what makes him an effective bounty hunter.
I like the phrase canonically inappropriate. I feel like that's a good one.
Just saying, it would be appropriate for them to be together on the street corner.
Right.
Well, I found out that the Kansas Comic-Con or whatever was happening then. So I was like, oh, at least now it makes sense in my mind why I'm seeing.
As opposed to, let's take a moment, and as opposed to, what possible other thing could have been occurring? Barring the fact that they're actual stormtroopers, what could be the alternate situation there?
Back party.
I was gonna say the 501st charity Star Trek. Is there Star Trek? Oh my God! Star Wars crew. Well, goodbye, everyone. I'm off the show now.
It's okay. I've never seen Star Trek.
Canceled. You have now. Oh my God. When we were trying so hard to avoid anything having to do with weddings, we were like, let's put something on TV that has nothing to do. We just need to chill out, right? And Sam was like, I've never watched Star Trek, and I was like, oh shit, let's turn on some Deep Space Nine. What?
That's where you start. You started it.
It was like really? Random. It was just on TV.
It was just on. It was on, and I was like,
oh, I just flicked to Star Trek, and it was fucking.
I feel like that's like if somebody says to you, I've never seen Star Wars before, and you're like, how about some Attack of the Clones? How about that? Let's just pop in old episode 2.
What do you have against Deep Space Nine?
No, it was
it's not
There's
that Deep
some
Space
good
Nine
shit that happens in Deep Space Nine.
It's not that it's bad. It's just not
chronologically wrong.
It's chronologically and qualitatively wrong. Like TNG maybe, or the original if you want to be.
Well,
but Deep Space
TNG is fucking fantastic. But look, we were scrolling through.
We were
Deep
stressed
Space
out.
Nine
We were like, we don't want wedding shit. Let's put fucking Star Trek on. Can
I ask what season it was? Was it when they had the Defiant, or was it before the Defiant, or was it before the Cardassians?
The point of this story is that it was the fucking episode where Worf
That's not
gets
the
married.
point of this story.
No,
I feel like you're
missing the story. It was a Klingon wedding.
It was a Klingon wedding that was literally happening when we turned it on, and I was like, fuck.
Kapla, I see.
Yeah.
Wow, starting with Deep Space Nine. That's an interesting choice. So are you gonna
and all the other trackers? By the way, go find that video. I'm gonna link it to all of you during the break of guys talking about Star Wars, and it's fucking hilarious.
How do you feel now about Star Trek, having been exposed to Deep Space Nine? Are you gonna get into that Star Trek jam?
Starting off with a fucking Klingon wedding, I think, was maybe the worst way to do it.
Yeah, it was a fucking garbage episode. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
He was just thrown into the super weird shit really fast. So.
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't know if I get into it. It's like it feels old.
Can you elucidate a little? I'm curious. I'm actually really curious about your opinion about this. I'm not just being patronizing and shitty.
It's I don't know. I feel like the time has passed. I couldn't put myself back in. You see them on the screen, beep beep boop, and you can tell it's just a flashing LED panel and stuff. I'm not immersed in it. It doesn't immerse me. It didn't immerse me.
I feel like Deep Space Nine is kind of like the Nintendo 64 of Star Treks.
Yes.
And if you didn't watch it when it was on, you probably would look at it and be like, what's a quark? Which is fair. I also feel like starting with Deep Space Nine is like a bit of a DJ Wheat move. Like, here, you can watch this one that probably nobody else likes. I'm the only one that likes it. Check it out.
Deep Space Nine is my favorite. Amazing. Adam, what is your issue with Deep Space Nine?
You know, there's elements of it that I like. I just don't think it should have been called Star Trek. I don't think it's a Star Trek show. There's no fucking trekking at all. There's no trekking whatsoever. Where's the trek? That's all I want to know.
In deep space, Adam.
Yeah, they stay in one place. An orbit is not a trek. It's an orbit. All right. I understand that I'm being a little oversensitive about Deep Space Nine. I get it, but it doesn't count. It's barely a Star Trek. Still, though, it's good. It's good that you got
exposed. The story was we tried to pick a show that we thought could be the furthest from a wedding, and it was a fucking Klingon wedding on TV. And then
that was really the point of this whole story.
Yeah, that was the goof.
We couldn't escape the shit even with Star Trek somehow.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how sick of talking about your wedding are you?
I'm good with it. I'm fine to still talk about it because for the most part I'm just like, it went awesome.
That's good. That's good. Because I think that most of the time people assume that it's either going to be a total nightmare or that it'll be like the greatest time of your life ever. And based on Jesse's Instagram, it seemed like everything was a great time. It seemed like you're having
everything went great. I was expecting something to go wrong and everything for the most part went right. So I was
something did go terribly wrong. You married Sam. But other than that,
he's so great though.
My best friend had his wedding 2 weeks before me, and I was best man, and so much went wrong. Yeah. And then they were just like, well, this is the norm for a wedding. And so we were like, well, all right, just be ready for anything, I guess. And then everything went right. So
yeah, it was amazing.
Didn't have to lift a finger.
Really. It was great. The food was good. The music was good. The weather cooperated for an outdoor wedding in England. Like, it was amazing. It went fantastic.
Adam, I'm just going to be honest. You really hurt me with that.
Listen, I'm speaking from a place of personal hurt, okay? And also for JP, who I know is heartbroken over the whole situation. So,
well, here's the thing. I married Dodger. I got straight back on a plane. And I spent the last 4 days grinding from 50 to 70 so that I could play Final Fantasy with my other wife.
JP.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Internet wife. That's fair.
Yeah. Juggling my wives.
You're allowed to have a real life wife and an internet wife. That's the law, I think. And if it isn't, I mean, it is now, at least
I have
in
a
Canada.
real wife and an Aorzia wife.
Yeah. Right. Fantasy wife.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oddly enough, my Aorzia wife is my cousin. Look, weird shit happens in Final Fantasy 14.
What happens in Aorzia stays in Aorzia.
Yep. The internet is there's a lot of, it's permissible is the thing. Lots of anything goes on the internet, including getting married to a loaf of bread, I guess. Yeah. So good. Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, you have us all, the two of you have us all beat in terms of like accomplishing things. Pokket, did you get up to anything in the last like 6 weeks worth talking about? I know I didn't.
I rage quit Bloodborne already.
What? You're not going to finish it? No.
Which boss did you quit on?
Tell me the story.
I got up to BSB. I call it the blood-sucking bitch and blood-starved beast. And I just fucking lost my mind. Oh my gosh. I beat Father G finally. I managed to parry and finished him off. And then I went to the blood-starved beast and I was like, this game is so stupid. And like for 2 days tried to beat it. I think I'm going to go play New Game Plus 1 in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah. Try to make yourself feel better. Blood-starved beast.
The best bit about Bloodborne
is
the DLC for Bloodborne is like 3 times harder than the game.
I was going to say, that's not even in the like, DLC yet, is it?
AI.
I normally wouldn't be this guy, but I'm usually so terrible at video games that I feel like I need to take advantage of this moment. Wasn't that hard. I never get to say that. Not like the DLC was tough, but it wasn't that hard. Bloodborne was not as difficult as everybody made me think it was. That's it. I'm done talking about it. I'm just really happy about that.
I heard people who played Dark Souls first have a harder time going into Bloodborne, though, because the playstyle, while it's similar, it's very different. Because Bloodborne or Dark Souls, I was good at it because I was very good at being patient and learning the boss. And
I'm the other way around. Yeah.
I don't know.
Bloodborne
I'm
is like
shit at Dark Souls.
Reactionary. Like, it's completely different.
It's all in your face, and you have to be. It rewards you for being full aggro versus being patient and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing for me to learn because I'm sitting there like, people are like, hit him, you need to get your health back. And I'm like, I can't. And then finally I realized the more aggro I am, the more likely I am to survive. And so, but then the stupid BSB has a poison aura as well. So you're around them and you're just like, oh, cool. I'm just dying now. Awesome. So.
Yeah, Bloodstained Beast, I feel like, is the playstyle check boss, where it's like, okay, if you're playing Bloodborne the way that they want you to win, this boss will not be difficult. But if you're playing like Dark Souls smart, less so.
That boss almost teaches you how to beat the rest of the game. So you should keep at it, because just fighting that boss will like move your playstyle towards a Bloodborne playstyle.
That's what everyone's been saying. They're like, if you get past this, you're fine. Like, you just got to get past. This is like, they said Father G and the BSB are like the hardest checks on how you're playing. And then if you get past them, the rest of it, it's not easy, but you understand it.
Father G and the BSB is my favorite funk band.
Right. Thank you. What a great name.
They're touring right now.
Yeah. Father G's got a purple leopard skin cape he wears on stage. Yeah, that's good.
He has a cane with a skull on it as well.
Of course, yeah. It's got a whole like weird voodoo thing going on. I'm actually writing this down so that in 10 episodes.
The BSB.
Oh, there you go. I actually don't know how to say Father G's name. That's why I keep calling him Father G.
Father Gascoigne?
Oh, is that how you say it? Okay.
Gas can. Gas can.
Yeah, Father Gas can.
Father G is what it is.
I like Father G better.
Have you tried using the blood vials? The boss?
The blood vials? Like healing yourself?
No, because it's the blood-starved beast. If you throw vials of blood, it runs off to eat them, and you can just beat him up from behind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
I tried that, but every time I tried that, he'd be in the middle of an animation. I'm like, why isn't it working? It's like, he's already hitting you. Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, got it.
Oh, so your rage quit was really more of a rage stall. You're gonna go back and finish it, or
yeah, she'll finish it.
I'll finish it. But this is how bad my rage was. I was like, I just need to chill out. I'm gonna go play Darkest Dungeon. Like literally Darkest Dungeon.
Wait, how do you chill out and play Darkest Dungeon?
What do you mean? Darkest Dungeon can be super chill.
It's super chill. I'm doing great.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm kicking ass. I only almost got one TPK, and then I got lucky, and it was the cannon guy. Absolutely missed everyone, and then I killed it. And I was like,
JP got the Jester nerfed. Good job.
I feel like the difference between the Dark Souls games and like Darkest Dungeon is that if you fuck up in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, it's your fault. And if things go badly for you in Darkest Dungeon, sometimes it's your fault, but sometimes it's just like, well, I was gonna say, luck.
I do think that sometimes people are like, this game has so much RNG, but there's things that you can do to put it more in your favor.
I watched Dan yesterday, and he had 4 level 6 clerics, and they all got one shot, and then they like died from the bleed tick. They got like
Why
crit.
did he take 4 Vestals in at the same time?
No, he like took one, it died. Then he took another one, it died. He took another one, it died. Like
right, like one at a time.
Level 6 ones like back to back to like a crit into a bleed, and they died on the first tick of the bleed. And he was in the Shadow Realm. He was so mad.
It was amazing.
Yeah, wait, can you explain that? I really like that. So what does it mean to be in the Shadow Realm, Sam? Please.
Just in the darkest place he's ever known.
Just tilted into oblivion.
He said to his chat, there are 4 rules. When he was like, I'm so tilted. There are 4 rules right now, and if you follow them, you're okay. And the rules are shut the fuck up. And then when people tried to give advice, they were just purged from this earth. It was amazing.
There is something extra salt-inducing of like you've failed, you've failed, and you know that in about 3 seconds there's going to be a room full of people who are pointing out the ways in which you failed and how you could have acted differently so as not to fail. Yeah, so you're like you just like you can see it, and I've watched Dan do this. Like his eyes drift over to the chat and be like, "Oh, here it comes. Oh, there it is," and he just instant rage, the dark lines.
Yeah. I do love the DLC though. The Darkest Dungeon DLC is really good. I don't know that, because there have been people who ask whether or not as a new player they should hop right into the DLC, and I don't think that they should. I think if you're a newer player, you should just play the base game and maybe activate like the Flagellant class in the DLC, because you can activate that without adding in the courtyard. But the new Crimson Court stuff infiltrates the entire game. So I think just like understanding the mechanics of the game and like getting used to what the game is first and then doing DLC, maybe starting a new game with the DLC activated is the way to go. Because I think it would make it feel really difficult.
It makes it a lot harder having the DLC on. I had 70 hours already in Darkest Dungeon before that, and then I automatically activated it, and then I'm sitting there playing it. I'm like, what is this? What are these things? And then I quickly learned what they did, and I was just like, okay, now what's going on? Why? And I'm just like sitting there questioning. I just had no idea what was going on, and that's someone that's put a lot of hours in. I think that if you want to get used to, you have to get used to Darkest Dungeon first.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, watch that clip in the chat of Dan. It's just, oh my god! Like you can't even make it up.
Part of watching, I think streamers playing difficult games is watching the kinds of games that set people off, because it's different for everybody. I think the kinds of stuff that make people mad really varies. And for some people, it's just like repeated bad luck. For other people, it's not being able to figure out a mechanic. Like for me, it's playing a multiplayer game and having my team like throw the match or like not play well. That makes me like, that's what gets me. So I don't do a lot of that. But yeah, I think this is just it. There's certain people for whom this style of play like really, really tweaks that nerve.
It's weird to me though, because it's fuck, what's the term? What's the word that I'm looking for? It's oh my god, what the fuck is happening to me? Turn-based. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I was gonna say sadomasochistic.
No, it's a turn-based game, so like
okay, yeah.
You can like take your time and decide what you take a breath when you need to take a breath. But I think when people get stressed out, they just like do something. They just like do a thing, and it's like sometimes you need to just chill for a second. I don't know. A game that puts pressure on me to act immediately is more stressful than a game like Darkest Dungeon, where I know that if things aren't going my way, I can like take a second, you know?
I think that's why I find Darkest Dungeon a lot more chill than obviously Bloodborne, where it's always in my face. And if, like you said, if I don't react when I'm supposed to right away, you can't pause the game. You can't pause the game and be like, okay, I need a breather real quick. You just got to keep going until you die. And you have to farm shit. If you start losing all your antidotes and all that, you have to go farm it. Versus Darkest Dungeon, it's like, okay, everyone got hit. 2 people are on death's door. What are we going to do? And you can sit there and take your time figuring out what would be the best move, or if you just need to run. And I really like that about the game.
Yeah. I think that's a real good point, is that it is very much about like whether you're being pushed to do the thing or whether you can take a second and relax and try to figure out your next step. Yeah. Cool. Well, we're all more or less caught up, I think. So let's play a role-playing game, shall we? So it's been a little while. Let's maybe just we'll start nice and slow. Let's get reacquainted with the characters, shall we? So why don't we just go around and we'll just read off character aspects so we can get back into where that is. So Eugene, do you want to start? Just tell us your character's aspects.
Sure. My aspects are the future richest slime in the galaxy. I'm a disgusting coward. Less is more, but they're my idiots, and a poor man with money.
Okay. And what are your stunts?
Because I will need minions one day. Once per session, I can pull any team member out of danger. Thanks to my loud mouth, once per session, I can talk my way out of any situation. And because I'm a big jiggly blob, I get a +2 when cleverly defending against attacks that would cut or pierce me.
Excellent. I like that last one. A big jiggly blob. It's nice.
I'm pretty sure those were not my words, but I just went with them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, pretty sure you're supposed to have 4.
So it depends on how much refresh you want. You can have 3 and keep your refresh as is. Everybody has a refresh of 4.
Well, I think at the end of last session, you gave us an extra stunt.
So yeah, let me check where you're at, because
I'm on -1 because I have 5.
You have 5, yeah.
Right.
So let me check where you're at, because the starting is 3, and then I think there might be.
You can have 4 without penalty, I believe.
Yeah, I have 2 stunts.
Which is okay. Yeah, and you can fill them out as you go, right? You can pick them up as we go. Yeah, I think you're right, Sam.
So we can have 4 without penalty now?
Yes,
you don't have to
we've
do
hit
it now. Like they could define you on our journey, kind of
As
thing.
we play.
I'll try to think of
that's
one.
right. Yeah, everybody. So what it is you get an additional point of refresh, which you can immediately use to purchase a stunt if you want. So everybody should have 3 with no penalty or 4 if they have 3 refresh. So 3 or 4. Sam, I don't know. Let me check the character creation thing.
Sam,
Let me just make sure you don't have one extra one.
I might be down to 2, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be down to 2 refresh then. Let me see.
I have 3
Let me see.
This is why we do these things.
Can I come up with one that relates to bread face? Would that be breaking our universe? Imagine she's the queen of a space.
Bread face.
You just have to create a scene where you discover bread for the first time.
It is.
Oh my god! I don't know what to do with it, so I just roll it on my face.
Yeah.
Everybody has 3.
Pillow loaf.
Everybody has 3 for free, and then your refresh is reduced by 1 for each stunt after the first 3. So yeah, Sam, if you have 4, your refresh is 3. I gave everybody another point of refresh because we hit a major milestone.
I have 5.
Yeah, you should not have 5 unless. Well, you can have 5. Your refresh is 2 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
My refresh is 3. Is that right? Because I only have 2 stunts.
No, it should be 4.
Okay.
Which is
Oh
fine.
my
That's what I've
God.
been giving you the right amount of points.
Before we start,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people in chat who are like, "I'm new here. We need a wiki, guys. We need a wiki just for this show.
We do.
We need.
It's true. It's true.
There's so much lore.
Is
to
there
this show.
anyone among you?
Just make us a wiki so we can just point to that in the future.
It doesn't help too that this is the first episode after a significant lore dump too. Like last one was it was an expository episode.
Someone did that with like West Marches, if I remember. They had like each character, they had their own.
Swan Song had one too.
That'd be.
Yeah, so if anybody's looking to make a wiki, now's the time because we're crammed in 13 episodes in. God knows what it'll be like when we get to 20 episodes.
Yeah.
We really
Plus
should have encouraged somebody to do this during the break, but
Absolutely.
you know what? Here we are now.
But here's the thing: don't worry, first timers, because everyone else will be just as confused as you in about an hour, and B, we haven't played in a while, so we're gonna frame up the beginning of this episode to kind of help get back into the
Everybody
current
back on
situation.
track.
Yeah. Because for us, we need a little bit of time. It's been like 6 or 7 weeks. So, yeah. So anyway, Eugene is a self-serving cowardly blob with the heart of self-serving cowardly blob. But you're trying to be better, I think. I think we've seen some moments.
I've had some emotionally questioning moments with who I am and what I care about.
Yeah. So speaking of emotional, Rex, let's get to know Rex again. So what are your aspects and your stunts?
Yeah, Rex is for people who know, Rex is a big gray-skinned, ripped sharkanoid dude. He's just like a humanoid with many sharp teeth. My aspects: he is a daring, outlawed sharkanoid. He looks like a shark, feels like a shark, is probably a shark. Is the second aspect. Compellingly heroic is his third aspect and his weakness. And Le Freak is his fourth aspect. And we've encountered, 4 ex-girlfriends already in our adventures?
Thuja, the spider lady, the
girl at the
MILF,
marsupial
mechanic,
place.
the mechanic, and then that was spider lady.
That was Spider Lady.
Okay. Sorry.
And then Snake's sister.
That's right, Quinn's sister. Yeah, Quinn's sister.
So far. Yeah. My stunts, because I am the apex predator of the galaxy, I get +2 when I quickly attack when engaged in one-on-one combat. Because of the eternal hunger of the sharkanoids, once per session, I can devour anything my size or smaller. Because I am compellingly heroic, I get +2 when defending flashily, as long as there is an audience present. Because I am of an aquatic race, I get +2 when attacking quickly when I am wet. And because I ate the Mingasi prince and he haunts my consciousness once per session, I can consult him for advice.
Yeah.
That's the point at which people who are new was like, what the fuck is this show?
You did who to the what now?
I
What?
ate the deceased body of the prince of the universe, and now he haunts my mind and speaks to me.
Yeah.
TLDR.
That's like remarkably concise way to describe that. Yes, that's precisely what happened. And that was in the first episode, I think.
It's literally the first episode, yeah.
One of the
I
first
think it
things.
was the first episode.
Oh, perfect. All right. Quinn. Let's talk about so we've just come out of a big arc for Quinn. Quinn was kind of the focus of the last big thing that happened. So what's Quinn about?
Quinn is the now one of two remaining, but for a while he was the last of his specific breed of lizard man. He was the last guardian of the 12 Serpentes on his home world of Slyn. But since then, things have changed. They fought and defeated the evil Empress and saved his people. And now he has the aspect of being the Blixnort, the legendary, I'm going to say Jesus-like figure to his people. I am the Blixnort legal guardian of the last guardian because I have a little baby child now. And also everyone hates a lizard man because at one point in time we dominated the galaxy, but now we are not so much doing that anymore, but people still hate us for it. I am a meticulous jar collector. Some habits die hard. For those who don't know, my species, the males of my species, we, up until recently, until I liberated them, we would shout our emotions into jars and seal them up because we didn't want to express them to each other. And I'm a former space jacker. I'm a hacker jacker, which means I can hack and jack all over space. Yeah, really, in the terminology, you would think it would have to do with technological stuff. I'm not sure what it has to do with.
We're not really
Whenever
sure
the occasion arises, I hack or jack.
Yeah, the mystery of hackerjacking is it's a thing we've not yet delved into. Yeah. A lot of, especially with Quinn, but a lot of what is happening with Nebula Jazz and the way this universe is developed is that the players will just say the first dumb thing that comes to mind, and then I write it down in my notebook, and it's real forever. Yeah. And so things like hackerjacking and the Blixnort Libelacta, if you say it, it's real.
Things like calling the last guardian baby Quinba.
Yeah, little Quinba.
Yeah.
And so that's how we go.
I'm also the destroyer of the Great Library. So that's you know.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I saved you. And then my stunts are I'm the last guardian, so I have +2 when forcefully attacking when I'm outnumbered. And I'm a jacker hacker, so I can flashily overcome when my reputation's on the line.
Yeah, so Quinn has had a storied history. He's the longest lived, I think, of all the characters, he spent some time
and the biggest. And yeah, I'm just a mess. I'm like, I can't fit indoors. I'm just a giant lizard man. I'm a massive lizard man. It's unfortunate. This galaxy was not built for me.
No, it's true. I don't want to call you out too hard here, Sam, but Killer Croc is a Batman villain, not a Spider-Man villain.
Well, he featured many a time in the Spider-Man comics.
No. You're thinking of the doctor guy who had.
You're thinking of the lizard. Yeah.
You're thinking of the lizard. Oh, Killer Croc is Batman. That's two different.
You're on the right
Marvel
track,
versus DC. It's okay. Everyone has their alligator man. It's fine. It's fine.
Fucked up.
I still love you.
It's my turn to leave the show.
Sam just fades away. Gone. It's over.
All right, and last but not least, we have Aurora, who despite being a younger member of the crew, has had an interesting past herself. Do you wanna tell us a little bit? What are your aspects, Aurora?
I'm a lot less confusing than these other people. I'm a burgeoning, happy-go-lucky Alexatronian techno mage, because that's not confusing. Alexatron is a robot world of one hive mind, pretty much. You know that great library that he destroyed? Yeah, that was on my home planet. Techno mage, I have basically uncontrollable magic that comes out, I guess, during times of stress or high emotion. But I have no emotions because I'm a robot. That's my second one. And then I travel with my loyal companion Sparky, my robo dog, who is a little puppy until he gets angry, and then he's a giant Rottweiler, pretty much. Giant dog. My fourth aspect is family ties. And then let's break it down. Parentheses, drop the beat. So
yeah. Yeah. family ties, as in like the character feels tied to the people around her, and is sort of like seeking her place amidst her family.
It wasn't just that though, because Family Ties was also the hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take advantage of it in multiple ways.
Yeah, she's also really, really into Michael J. Fox. That's what that one references.
Also
Right,
that.
also.
Obviously, child of the 80s, you know. And then my aspect is because I was raised by robots. Once per session, I can hack robotics around me when I feel threatened. And I wanted to work on this one with you, Adam, but I kind of blanked over the past several weeks. But because I am part of the Alexatronian hive mind, I can reveal hidden information once per session when I couldn't get the win part. So
you want to write a stunt about your innate connection to the hive mind?
To reveal, because if I have a connection to the hive mind and all this stuff was once saved in a library, you'd think it'd still be a part of the hive mind. They just need to resave it in these little crystals that they once had. So I would be able to maybe...
Listen, Alexatron, they always mean to get around to backing up the library, you know, like they'll get around to it. Eventually they bought an external hard drive.
Up and they always just immediately get rid of it.
Package from Amazon, and they just, you know...
There's no Amazon. They make up that.
That's true. I mean, if you want this to be like sort of like the once per session narrative type stunt, you could just say that because I'm connected to the Alexatronian hive mind, once per session I can get an insight from it, which is really just saying to me like once per session I want you to tell me something the hive mind knows.
Okay.
That's
like
easy enough.
Situation, right?
Yeah. So you just once per session you can be like, Adam, what does the hive mind know? And we can describe you having that revelation. That's easy enough. Okay.
Y'all gave so much more information than I did.
Oh, and I have an amazing magician friend named Dango the magician.
Yes, Dango the Magnificent.
How dare you call him a friend? That poor boy loves you. That poor boy loves you.
This is my friend. This is my friend.
Friend zone.
We'll get to the Dango situation. So yeah, I mean, like for me, the universe at large is my character, and it's currently kind of in the midst of some galactic intrigue because a bunch of no good space pirates murdered the Prince of the Universe, and the rightful leader, the Duke Mako, has been on the hunt, trying to get justice for his dead nephew. And in doing so, has been chasing you losers all over the universe. However, that's all kind of the smokescreen to try to get a hold of the key for the ignition of a Mingasi Imperium superweapon built by the Alexatronians, used only twice in the history of the universe so far before the key was stolen and lost. Once to destroy their enemies, the Agarans, former warrior race in service to the Empire. But the test firing was on a little blue planet called Earth, which was destroyed around 1986. So he's been looking for this scepter, which you have. There was a bit of a farce in the last episode about scepter, who's got the scepter, where you made a fake one and then was going to give it to, and we learned that your Rex's ex-girlfriend Thuja is currently sworn to protect a character who is the only known hybrid, the only known crossbreed of a Mingasi noble and anyone else. And it just so happens that she's been crossbred with a human being, which we've started to suspect might be the reason why the Imperium blew up the planet Earth in the first place. So Thuja and her Royal Highness Edina, Princess in Exile, came to you to reveal to you this fact, to be like, look, we need to fight the Imperium. You need to give us the scepter so that we can reinstate the Agaran warrior culture because they're all splintered. It's all in a bad way, and they asked you to give them the scepter so they could do this.
I did not.
And you did not. Yeah. No, I can't remember. You didn't give her. You gave her the fake scepter. That's right. Thuja has the fake scepter. They don't know it yet. They've left the planet.
No, they know. Maybe I don't. I know that. Sam, did you tell them, or did you not tell them?
Sam
be like, I'm out.
No, we fell out over it.
Yeah. I know. I didn't remember if you told them or not before you were like, I'm leaving. So I don't. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Rex wanted to give them the correct scepter, but yeah, Thuja and the Princess in Exile have the fake scepter, and yeah, they've gone back to the Shards of Agara to try to reunite the tribes with this fake artifact.
But we also learned that Pokket Aurora has a connection genetically to the princess as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say drinking problem.
I mean, you do. That's something that developed very quickly in the last 2 episodes. But no, you have a your DNA is very similar to hers, which I don't know if you explained to new people, but spoiler, you're human. You're one of the last humans.
No, I'm not.
But you don't know.
Totally a human. Yeah, you just don't know that.
Yeah, everyone except Aurora knows that Aurora is like a human being, or at least not an Alexatronian robot, not a prototype. But that's how that's going. And so yeah, at the end of the last session, at the end of the last episode, we saw the group kind of splinter, right? Everybody, there was some sad music in the soundtrack, and everybody went their own way to pursue, I mean, getting blackout drunk or their own goals. We saw Rex leave and go find himself in a rough part of the station that you've been hanging out in Dead Man's Reef. Rex back among his element, the sort of criminals of the station. We saw Eugene follow Rex, kind of sadly trying to like keep the team together, right? Aurora ended up sad and drunk in the spaceport, but being consoled by her. I keep calling him your ex, but I don't think you actually ever dated.
I don't think they ever dated.
No, the amazing Dango Keel, he's found you. The last scene of the last episode, because I remember I went back and watched, was you crying and him pulling handkerchiefs out of his sleeve to
Yeah.
And stage magic in this setting is it's actually considered a fairly highbrow form of art. So he's a performance artist, and he's like, don't worry, baby, Dango's here. So that was the last time that we saw you. And then Quinn is maybe our most important unanswered question, because we saw you and Commodore Vasan in the alley, surrounded by Imperial pulse beam wielders. You were in a bit of a bad spot, Quinn.
Yeah.
So the tempting thing to do here would be to just be like, okay, cool. So fade back in on you in the alley in that scene. But I kind of like the idea of just moving ahead and being like, the team is splintered. Let's get caught up with each character individually, because I think you kind of I want to give them some time to breathe on their own, to realize kind of what's happened. So I want to start with Eugene. So when the episode fades back in after the credits, we get our big Nebula Jazz intro, we get the credits. When we fade back in, we see Eugene. And where is Eugene? What are you doing?
Like present time. What am I doing?
I mean, yeah, just frame up a scene. Where is Eugene at? Eugene is the team has disbanded. Some stuff is going on in the background, and we'll fill in all those details as we play, rather than set it all up in advance.
So you see Eugene in kind of a dark, small room at a desk with paperwork everywhere. Currently, on a digital call with somebody and sounding just so irritated. There are people coming in and out of the room with more papers, taking papers away. And none of the people who are coming in or leaving seem like the reputable type. They all seem pretty, maybe a little slimy. Also, from lots of different backgrounds, right? Right. Some of them walk in and they look like, maybe they're thuggy mercenaries. Some of them walk in and they seem like maybe they just work at a casino, but all of them seem a little weird, right? it's very obvious that he is doing some kind of shady business with a lot of people.
So
juggling lots of stuff.
How do these people, as these aliens and mercenaries and what have you, as they come and go from your office, do they treat you? How are they treating you? Is this kind of like, here's more work, Eugene, blam, drop it on your desk, or is it more like, are they deferring to you? What's the vibe of their interactions with you?
I am a necessary cog in their life at this point. So it's not, I'm not beneath them. They're not really interacting with me in a way that seems like they're very reverent of me either. But I am necessary to things that they need to get done as of right now. It's very obvious that I need information that they need to get somewhere, and that I am also giving them information that they need in order to move on with whatever their job is.
Cool. So I imagine the scene, right? You've got your desk. You've got, for some reason, even though it's the distant future of sci-fi, you've got piles of paper because, why not? The room is dimly lit. Kind of smoky. Maybe on the desk there's like an ashtray with like a cigar in it, kind of smoking.
Right. Yeah.
and there's we've got the sort of film noir lighting where it's not black and white, but it's very monochrome, kind of like sepia looking. You can get bits of like the green from your skin, but it's all muted colors. And we have these like harsh lines from the I guess they're technically Venetian blinds. They probably they're Venusian blinds, and the light coming in these like hard lines on you, and we see the door open, and there's a woman, and she's wearing a bonnet, and she has like an apron and a dress, and she has purple skin and 6 eyes and a cluster of tentacles, and she's holding like little babies and like kind of like bouncing these little tentacle babies, and she comes in and she sits down in the chair in front of you, and she's like she puts 2 of her tentacles together, like rings them together in front of you, and she's like, "Please, Eugene, I know that we're behind on our payments, but I have my babies to feed." And her kind of insectoid eyes start to well up with neon tears.
She comes in and she sits down, and I haven't even looked up, and then I look up at her and I'm just, cut the crap, Marisha. Come on. Just because you had a bunch of babies, you can't do your job anymore? What is this? You said you were going to do the thing. You're not doing the thing. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say to the client?
Yeah, and she's like, but I know I told you. I said that I would have payment for you this week, but I just need a few more days. Please.
I don't know about this. I'm a pretty nice guy. I like to think. I've given you a few more days. You come in, you cry a little. I give you a few more days. You come in, you cry a little. How many times do we got to do this dance, Marisha?
And I think one of the babies starts to cry, and she's like, "Oh, there, Eustace. It'll be all right. See, Mr. Eugene's a good slime. He won't have us kicked out of our home. Isn't that right, Mr. Eugene?"
All right, Marisha, here's what's going to happen. Either you're going to give me what I need today by end of day, or maybe we just start taking one of your babies. You got a lot of them, right? Like, you wouldn't mind if you missed one day, then 2 the next day, right? Like, at least in the end, you might wind up with one of them by the time you got your shit together.
And she's like, "No, please, not my babies." And I think she looks over, and we see for the first time, like standing by the door, we see Eugene's muscle, right? We see your goon. And what does this guy look like? What kind of muscle do you employ here to enforce your will?
Well, I like to try to help out my fellow sort of weirdos. So this guy basically just looks like a giant rock person.
Nice.
He's just made out of he looks like if he were to sit down and take off all of his clothes, he would just blend in with landscape.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. He looks like one of the rock lords. Yeah, so we look over and we see him, and he's wearing he's got a little like fedora on and a tie and no other clothes. And we just see him like pound his rocky fist into his palm. And she looks over her shoulder and looks back at you, and she's like, now, Mr. Eugene, there's no need to get Dwayne involved, please. And she like looks at all her babies, and she like holds one out, and she's like, I haven't even named this one yet. You can hold on to him until I have the money. And there's this this little baby. He's just basically like a human like baby head with 6 eyes and like a sprout of tentacles coming out underneath him. Wow. And she like holds him out to you, like you can look after. Just hold on to him as collateral.
I have never been so disgusted in my entire life. You know, I was just bullshitting you right now. Then, like, come on, you're actually gonna give me one of your babies? What kind of mother are you? What's going on here?
The tentacles like retract, and she's like holding me, and she's like, well, I wasn't gonna let you keep him.
Here's the thing, Marisha. I know that those aren't actually your babies. I know that you're trying to pull some kind of fast one on me. I'm not an idiot. So if you could get your shit together, give me the money that I know you have, give those babies back to your poor sister, who's I'm sure missing them quite a bit. That would be fantastic, because otherwise I don't think I'm ever going to have work for you again. And then what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I think she scowls at you, and her tentacles all kind of like place the babies on the floor, and they kind of inflate a little bit to like normal size, and they start taking off their like the baby outfits, and she takes her bonnet off, and then she turns to them and she's like, all right, boys, let's go. And they kind of like stand up, and she turns back and looks at you, and she shakes her head, and she's like, end of day, as you say, Eugene. And they kind of like tentacle out of the room, and Dwayne just very, very like professionally like reaches over, and the doorknob, the little brass doorknob, is like tiny in his giant rocky hand. And he just reaches over and like turns the knob,
like finger and thumb.
Yeah, exactly. Just and like opens it, pushes the door open, and the little like gang of tentacloids like squirm out of the room, and Dwayne like closes the door, and he shakes his head, and he says to you, he's like, no respect out there anymore, boss.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
He nods. He's like, used to be a time people would do what they said they'd do. Damn shame. Like rumbles and like puts his rocky arms over his chest.
What would I do without you, big guy? You know, I got a heart of gold. I'm soft. I'm soft on that shit, but you're there to keep me. You keep me in the know. So I know when people are trying to pull a fast one on me.
Yeah, and he nods, and like he tips his like tiny little fedora up on top of the massive boulder that makes up his head, and he's like, whatever you say, boss.
You know what? How about you take the rest of the day off? I'm about to head out anyway. I'm going to finish up what I got to do here. You take your girl out somewhere.
Right. And like, yeah, there's a picture on your desk of like the three of you, of like you and you and him at like a horse race or something. Like you're clutching a bunch of like tickets, and he's wearing his hat, and like you're all out at the races. What does his girlfriend look like? Like, is she another like rock Lorian like him, or is she something else? His
girlfriend literally just looks like one of those round rocks that you would see like near a stream or something, but with a tiny little hat on.
It was like a pebble or something.
She's got like a moss bikini line.
So yeah, the three of you, and yeah, she's got these big like Lolita, like the heart-shaped sunglasses on the front. It's like you put a pet rock put some sunglasses on it.
Yeah.
And he nods, and he's like, well, you know, she has been saying I don't take her out often enough. Hey, boss, can I get your advice on something? And he like kind of like takes a couple of steps over to the desk.
He like sits on a tiny chair.
The chair like groans underneath him as he sits down. He takes his hat off.
For you, I've always got time. What do you need, big guy?
Says, well, as you know, me and Pebble, we've been together a while now, and I was thinking, and he like reaches into his pocket, and he just reaches behind him because whatever, right. And he takes out a little like ring like case, and he opens it up, and inside there's a little like organic like worm shaped creature with its tail in its mouth, and it's like wriggling around in this case, and he's like, well, I was thinking about asking her to, you know, be my wife. And he holds the thing out like, what do you think?
Wow. You know, there's nobody in the world that deserves happiness the way you do. And like, you can like, there's a second where it almost seems like Eugene feels a little bit conflicted.
Yeah.
And then And then he pushes through and he's like, yeah, you know what? She would be crazy not to say yes. You two are made for each other.
And he nods and closes the thing and he says, thanks, boss. You know, you're the best. And he like reaches out and like gives you like a squeeze with his enormous hand.
Oof, all right, not too much now. You know how I get.
Yeah, and I think when he opens his hand, he like you kind of stick to him. He kind of has to like shake you off. Little Eugene's gonna fall on the desk and slime back into you. And he shakes the hat out, puts it back on his head, and he's like, well, see you tomorrow, boss. And he goes and opens the door and heads outside.
Right. Have a good one.
Like goes through the doorway.
Exactly. He has to like duck and like kind of go sideways and like, squeeze his hand out without breaking the door. And we can see the door has been broken and repaired a ton of times. Like the paint doesn't match. There's a circle around it where he's had to like chase people out of the room. And yeah, he closes the door politely behind him, and we see inverted on the door. We see the glass of the panel. And we see in sort of like slightly scratched letters, it says Eugene on the door. And before we cut to break, what does Eugene look like? You get a moment alone at the end of your workday. You have this guy that you've inspired, and what's the look on your face? Like, do you look satisfied? Just give me a quick description of Eugene here.
Well, I think without somebody groveling to him like this lady tentacle monster before, and without being called boss, like in this moment when he's by himself in the room, he doesn't look at all like the boss of anything, right? Like, and I think like as the camera's pulling out a little bit and you see him just like alone in this room with stuff everywhere, there's a little blip, like a little hologram blip up, and he looks over and kind of he doesn't have expressions, but like the gelatin form of his body sort of like moves weird, and he just presses a button and it vanishes, and that's when go to black.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we see a moment where Eugene just kind of like sighs and like deflates a little, and then we go to black. So let's take our first break here, and we'll come back and we'll see what the rest of the crew has been up to in the meantime. Stick around. We got more Nebula Jazz coming at you right after this.